We've been so fortunate these many months to have a sanctuary that moves with us, that evolves with us. That when we would be here and we would fill the place, it was just right. When all of a sudden we needed to hardly be here at all, it could move and it was just right. We're blessed that we didn't have pews nailed to the floor, but that we have the furniture, lights, and ourselves who could move and be what we needed to be each and every Shabbat here in the sanctuary and in the beautiful sanctuaries that you've made at home. And so it's wonderful to be in this place as it moves and molds and forms around us, to be what we need. That's the popcorn, it's for afterwards. To be what this place needs to be as we start to have, it's so nice to do Judaism with Jews. You know, it's a wonderful idea. We really should move ahead with it. But it's beautiful to see faces here. It's beautiful to know that you are still in your sanctuaries at home and that we're finding this new and different way, not as a new normal, but as what is right for this Shabbat and the Shabbatot to come as we move forward, as we always have. To bless the day of the Shabbat, which comes, thank God, every 7 days. There are some of you at home who like to, and we need you to stand up where you are and to sing how beautiful this day is. Maya Fehayom.
Maya Fehayom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Echoing over the centuries and echoing throughout our sanctuaries, our homes, and this sanctuary here, the 150th Psalm on page 14.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 בציר של נשמה, hallelujah, בציר של תרועה, כל הנשמה תהלליה, hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
If you have Shabbat candles at the ready in your homes, and we have the Gorelick family and their candles ready here, it's time for us together to light the candles of Shabbat.
Oh, hear my prayer, I sing to you. Be gracious to the ones I love, and bless them with goodness and mercy and peace. Oh, hear my prayer to you. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say, Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say, Amen. Amen.
Mazel tov. Ali, you ready for tomorrow? No? Yes, you are.
Oh, yes, you are.
Lechu Nuranana, page 4.
לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצורישנו. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצורישנו. נקדמה פניו בתודה, בשמירות נריע לו. קדמה פניו בתודה, בשמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצורישנו. לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצורישנו. קדמה פניו בתודה, בשמירות נריע לו. קדמה פניו בתודה, בשמירות נריע לו. לכו נרננה, לכו נרננה לאדוני, נריע לצורישנו. לכו נרננה לאדוני, לקדמו פניו בתודה בזמירות נריע לו לחננה לאדוני נריע לצור אישנו.
We're going to be fully welcoming Shabbat with Lecha Dodi in a few moments. Those of you sitting in this sanctuary, turn to those near you and make sure everybody's welcomed with Shabbat Shalom. And if you're home and there's someone in that sanctuary with you, wish them Shabbat Shalom, or pick up your phone and text or call someone who would appreciate hearing from you and would feel the connection.
Kala, Bene Shabbat. kala Shabbat nekabelo.
On page 15, we allow ourselves to move towards the heart of the service with the words of Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal veyitkadash shemei Rabba Yermani brachirutev yamlich malchutei bechayechon uvyom echon uvchayei lechol beit Yisrael bagala uvizman kari veyimeru Amen Yeshmei Rabba mevorach Le'olam u'la'olam e'almaya Yitbarach ve'ishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha Berichu le'ela min kol birchata ve'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata damiran be'alma ve'imeru
Page 16.
Et Adonai Baruch Adonai
Baruch Adonai
HaMevorach
Together on page 18, we are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us, even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us, even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us, even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us, even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us, even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved by an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. Blessed are you who loves your people Israel.
כי הם חיינו יורך ימינו והם נגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל שמע ישראל Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed, Ve'ahavta את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We are seated. In tonight's portion, Shalach, we're going to hear that the Israelites are nearing their 40 years of wandering, coming to the very close of that time. And it's a journey that began with the moment of Micha Mocha, with that initial moment of freedom. And we're always reminded when we see these words, when we hear these words, that we are all on a journey together. And that the only way that this journey can work is when we don't only look ahead worried about just ourselves, but we turn to our right and to our left, and we reach out our hands and we make sure that everyone in our communities comes with us as we make this journey forward. Micha Mocha, page 21.
La 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha bailim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, Torah tehilot o sefer. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי, אנו ויאמרו, אדוני אלוהינו, לעולם פאר. Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 לה.
On the very next page, on page 22, words that come from the book of Exodus that tell of the promise we made to observe Shabbat in each and every generation. Vishamru, page 22.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Just had this wonderful image of thousands of Israelites dancing to that. How could you not fulfill that promise with such joy? On the very next page, page 23, we're going to rise together and begin the Amidah together.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Velohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Velohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ועל כל ישראל, ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו אמן. La 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 la. שלום במרומה, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל
So again, the Israelites are coming to the end of their 40 years of wandering. It's now time for them to enter and settle the land of Canaan. Clever people they were. I think that was Yoda syntax, wasn't it? Clever people they were. They knew very well that it wouldn't make much sense to enter the promised land with no idea of what it looked like. More importantly, who was there? Who were the people who lived there? What were they like? Were they tall? Were they short? How do we prepare ourselves to encounter them? Do they live in large cities? Do they live in small villages? What's the agriculture like? Who are these people? They were at that great biblical moment of finally fulfilling God's promise and entering the promised land. And think about it. It was not something they were remembering from many, many generations ago. It was divinely proclaimed in lives that they remembered. They were told that with permission from God, with the command from God, that they would settle the land. And we can assume that at that particular moment of all moments, at the birth of our people's nation, just a few short years, imagine that, just a few short years after receiving the Torah, in the shadow of God's very presence of taking them out of Egypt, we can assume that they believed quite literally. It was very immediate, their ability to go in and take the land. Yet even at that very heightened moment of believing in their rights to the land, even then, they were practical enough, they were wise enough and thoughtful enough to send in scouts, to familiarize themselves with the people and the places, so that the settling of the land could go as easily as possible. Without scouting the land and scouting the people, they'd be at such a disadvantage. How can you begin to understand your neighbors, even your adversaries, if you have no idea who they are, if you don't know the first thing about them? They knew that they had to check out the place and they had to check out the people. And I bring this up not to make any point about the Israeli politics of the moment, or to present a stand on one state or two states, or define what is Israel, what is Palestine, what are the borders now, where might they be in the future, or the myriad other challenges of that Gordian knot in the heart of that troubled region. I just want to highlight one observation that comes from this portion and from decades of observing and visiting Israel. Because in the most basic ways, the vast majority of Israelis and Palestinians, of Jews and Arabs, they don't know each other. When you think of the tininess of that land, when you consider the incredibly tight proximity in which these different peoples live, it's quite astounding to contemplate the degree to which they know very little about one another. I would imagine that they're expert on each other's military strengths, the other's politics, the nature of the extremists in the other's camp. But the degree to which they've not been in one another's homes as guests, nor sat equally around one another's dinner tables, nor studied the more beautiful elements of the other's religious traditions, that's really quite astounding. I mean, there are some small groups of folks trying to befriend and really get to know one another as full-fledged human beings, but very far and few between. So I would ask that as Israel enters this new and uncharted period of transition in its history, perhaps more of the people who hold positions that can make a difference will open themselves to the wisdom of the ancient Israelites, who knew that at the end of the wilderness, that at the end of the years of wandering, they somehow knew that the peacefulness and the future of their new nation could somehow be more secure if they sent out the scouts and deeply learn something of the other people with whom they would settle the promised land. Amen. Perhaps sitting in the sanctuary, perhaps sitting in our homes, there are those among us who are ill and in need of healing. There are certainly those among our circles of friends and family. I'd ask you now to do your best to think from your heart of those individuals as we sing beautiful words of healing on page 33. And to think also of the ways that we will reach out and call and hold them if we can, when we can, to help in their healing. We'll take a quiet moment, and if there's someone that you're remembering, someone that you're thinking of now that you'd like to feel your healing, please say their names at home out loud or here in the sanctuary out loud. Seth Mayeri.
שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב שרה רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך וירפא את החולים שברך אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב שרה רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך וירפא את החולים אבותינו אברהם יצחק ויעקב שרה רבקה רחל ולאה הוא יברך וירפא את החולים הוא יברך וירפא את החולים.
We know that there are many forms of Misha Berach. The one we know with most familiarity is the one for those who are ill, but there are many forms of Misha Berach that are for moments of joy and transition. Misha Berach for the birth of a child, Misha Berach for all ways of moving on in life. And one of our dear members, one of the leaders of our community, Judy Brown, is moving forward in her life, moving to live closer to a grandchild, to begin a new chapter, to find a new home while this remains a home as well. And Judy, I'd like to invite you forward so that the cantor can sing a blessing to you and you can have a moment in front of the ark.
Lech lecha to a place you do not know. Lechi lach, on your journey I will bless you, and you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach. Lechi lach. And I shall make your name great. Lech lecha. And all shall praise your name. Lechi lach, to a place that I will show you. Lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim, lesimchat chayim. Lechi lach. And you shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. You shall be a blessing. Lechi lach.
We're now all going to rise together. We'll turn to page 36, and we find the words of Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach l'Adon hakol, latet gedula leotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzot, elo samanu kemishpechot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, וגאול עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We are seated, and as we find our sanctuary transforming and going from stage to stage, apparently at this stage, the center podium is the presidential podium. An honor to have Hank up here to give Shabbat greetings and announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. Last March, Susan and Scott, along with the clergy and Jess and the other leaders of the congregation, made one of the most difficult decisions of their lives, but the right decision. And that was to never close, but to shut everything down for a couple weeks, maybe a month, maybe a couple months. No one could have imagined that none of you would be here for well over a year. None of us could imagine that all of you at home would be such an instrumental part of keeping our community going from a distance. But we're here, and we see each other. And we may not be able to see each other and do the same things and the hugs and the kisses that we could do a year ago. But to have people back, to hear them. Cantor, did you hear them singing with you? They've been singing, but you didn't hear it. And tonight, you could hear it. And to hear Shema resonate throughout this place once again, it was so beautiful. You at home, we are so glad you are with us, and we look forward to the day when you'll be here too, or at home because you'd rather be home in your jammies. Either way, that's okay. It's a joyous celebration to have you all here. Judy, it was a joyous celebration to have you be part of it. We will miss you. We love you. Those of us who have grandchildren far away are very jealous. And my daughter who is watching, don't get any bright ideas. We're not moving to Indianapolis. And to the world's greatest granddaughter who's watching, Shabbat Shalom, sweetheart. We're thrilled to be able to celebrate so many simchas coming up. In fact, we have 3 B'nai Mitzvot tomorrow. Anybody here know anybody having a bat mitzvah, bar mitzvah, anything? We have 3 at 10 a.m., Jack Manel. At 1 p.m., who's at 1 p.m.? Allie, you know who's at 1 p.m.? How about Allie Gorelik? We'll do the Allie Gorelik bat mitzvah at 1 p.m. And then at 4 p.m., Blake Feinstein. This coming Sunday at 7:30 p.m. by Zoom, we're going to have a presentation by the Westchester Jewish Coalition for Immigration. The topic of the presentation is the Border Report, Children in Need. If you've been paying attention to the press, and I'm assuming that many of you have, you've seen the reports of the rises in incidents of anti-Semitism over the last few weeks. It is time for us to take a stand. It is time for us to show that we will not tolerate this rise in anti-Semitic acts. On Monday, please join us as we stand together against hate and anti-Semitism. The Westchester Jewish Council is proud to coordinate with UJA Federation of New York and in partnership with Kol Ami and other member organizations, a community unity gathering. Westchester stands against anti-Semitism and hate, Monday, June 7th, 7 to 8 p.m., outdoors at the JCC Mid-Westchester. Please register. You have to register in advance. Join our executive director, Jess Lorden, past presidents Ronnie Cohn and Lisa Borowitz, and myself as we are there on Monday night to take a stand against anti-Semitism. And Rabbi Tom will be there as well. This is Pride Month. On June 18th, we will be celebrating Pride. We love our Pride Shabbat. Our featured speaker is going to be Captain Ofer Eretz, the first transgender IDF officer in Israel's history. And on June 19th, a special day, the Kol Ami retreat returns. It returns for a day. It returns here, but it does return. We're going to celebrate outdoors beginning at 3:30. It's going to go until 9 o'clock. There's going to be programming, and the evening is going to end with a wonderful Havdalah service and a concert led by, you know who it's going to be? Maybe Danny? Cantor Danny is going to lead it. And I believe you have a friend from Broadway going to join you, correct?
A gentleman named Adam Ben David, music director of the Book of Mormon for quite a few years, and also the son of a cantor, so we'll have a lot to talk about.
Our next Shabbat on our front lawn will be June 25th. Don't worry, if you want to come back, we will still be doing Shabbats inside, but we're going to keep going with the outside because they're a lot of fun, so why wouldn't we? And your membership mailing was sent this week. I think I got mine today. Look in your mail for it, and please reply promptly and make your first dues payment, as membership is going to be required to attend and sign up for our High Holy Day services. Spoiler alert, there will be way more than 30 people here for all the services on the High Holy Days. Not full, but way more than 30. But you can't click on the link to sign up until you've paid for your dues. So please do that as soon as possible. As always, you can find out more information on our website. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
On this Shabbat Eve, some of us have experienced losses of someone we loved in very recent days. If you hear the name of your beloved mentioned, you're invited to rise in your place as we remember Rebecca Baker, Norma Benardet, Gertrude Fisher, Louis Latona, Evelyn Miller, Mattie Abler, Leonard Paul Nalabo, Richard Lurt, Denise McAvoy, Blanche Herskovitz, and Howard Greenfeld. If you're here during this week of saying, during the year of saying Kaddish, you're invited to rise in your places, as well as those of you who are remembering the blessed Yortsites of Sandra Baer, Rose Cole, David DeVries, Sidney Dreyer, Herman Goldberg, Selma Goldberg, Indy Goldman, Fanny Goltz, Betty Gompertz, Samuel Green, Molly Joseph, Michelle Corcus, David Leo Lieb, Joan Marks, Rabbi Jacob Milgram, Stan Mustashi, Eric Nachman, Louis Narenberg, Felice Orange, Martin Rose, Berta Schuket, Marilyn Siklag, Mildred Silverstone, Henry Summer, Lisa Spare, Paul Sperber, Jacob W. Veron, Sylvia Wadler, Arlene West, and Benjamin Zavlik. And the rest of us here and in our homes will rise with you so that we can say Kaddish together on page 39. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kari v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam u'le'almei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudisha berichu la'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Let's join together for Kiddush on page 40.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'b'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maaseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila le'mikra'e kodesh Zeichel etziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu v'acharta Ve'otanu kidashta Mikol ha'amim Ve'shabat kodshecha Ve'ahava u'v'ratzon Hinechaltanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May God smile upon you and be good to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God always be kind to you and bless all of us with the greatest of all blessings, the blessing of Shalom. Amen.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Eyom, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Setchem L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malchei Amlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.